So your first year, you came in as this transfer from the States, and you kind of lit the RSEQ on fire. Then your second year, it was a bit of a drop. What really accounts for that?
I think football, especially the quarterback position, right? Things are going well. The quarterback gets all the glory. Things are going bad, the first guy to blame. But I think at the end of the day, it was more the defenses were playing us differently in the second year than they were the first year. And I think there was just a lot of things that were going on our second year that, as a team, we had to overcome and grow. And I think adversity-wise, we've learned a lot from last year, and it's helping us this year. So
yeah. And when you came in, you were coming in from the States, and there was obviously an adjustment that had to be done football-wise because it's a different game. What was the adjustment like?
Football-wise, I'd say the biggest difference was the motions and the waggles.
Yeah.
So, just learning the plays. In the States, you can learn from like left to right. You can look out before the snap and see exactly who's going to run what. So when I came to Canada and they're going behind me and running in front of me, it was pretty confusing. And then you couple that with the extra guy in the field, so all the defenses are different.
Yeah.
And then you also put in the fact that the wide side of the field is like a 45 to 50-yard throw.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of stuff just getting used to, and it took time. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. So there was obviously an on-the-field adjustment, but you were coming to a new city. What was your first sort of lasting memory of Montreal, and how did you do your first while?
So I started off in Tampa, which is like a pretty big
USF,
city.
Yeah.
And then I went to a D2 in North Carolina. So the town there was about 2,000 people. And when school was in session, the town doubled in size to 4,000. So it was a really, really small town. So when I came to Montreal, it was pretty nuts. Just even walking downtown, I was like, it's crazy. So there was only one restaurant in my last school. And then at this school, it's like, there's like a restaurant every 2 yards downtown. So it was like amazing. So, it was a pretty awesome transition into Montreal, and I still love it. So I've been there the last 3 summers, and it's just a great city.
Yeah. And so your first year, since your first year, you've been pretty lucky to have pretty much the same people around you, coaches, wide receivers, running backs. Has the continuity really helped you, keep steady?
Yeah, I think especially this year we're reaping the benefits of it, and I think that's a natural process. Is when you're with people for 3 years now. We all pretty much came in together, so I think just now we're really starting to get that chemistry down on the field, off the field. Everything's going well, so it should be just keep progressing as it goes, and it should be dangerous.
So this is your last year. What are your goals for this year?
Well, first off, I think, as opposed to last year where we were just spewing out we want to win the national championship, we want to do this, we want to do that. I think that's great, and that's still our goal. But this year we're really taking it just day by day. So we're not really focused on, who we're playing the next week. We're just focused on this week. And I think if we can just maintain that goal, just getting better every day, that's honestly, I know it sounds cliche, but that's really helping us this year.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that there was 3 years where you're building chemistry on and off the field. If there was one lasting memory as a Stinger so far, what would it be?
I'd say my first year when we beat McGill to go into the playoffs on the last second field goal and the last second drive, that was pretty great. But it was pretty great last week when we beat Sherbrooke. We had a similar drive all the way down the field, and then Andrew Stevens kicked it through the uprights. And I don't know if Sherbrooke planned it for us or not, but they had fireworks for us right after the game, so it was pretty nice.
I did see those pictures on the internet. So you mentioned McGill, you mentioned Sherbrooke. Do you have a favorite place to play in the RSEQ, or at least favorite?
I love playing at Montreal, Laval, and I love playing at home, obviously, but I love the away games because. Especially when we go to the French universities, they just seem to hate us, and especially me. So, when I see the signs in the stands like Trenton Miller killed Harambe and
no way,
just awful obscenities about me, it just fires me up even more. So, I love the atmosphere, and I think the RSEQ, especially this year, it's like every team can beat any team each week, so it's just great atmosphere each week. And
so you mentioned UDM and Laval. So those schools, they're the French schools, but those are obviously the every year they're the teams to beat, right? What do you sort of think about that in the way the RSEQ is configured, where there's always going to be 2 juggernauts?
Well, do I think it's fair that they have a private owner? That must be pretty nice, but I know the youth sports is starting to develop and trying to level the playing field in terms of funding, but that's what it all comes down to.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think it's amazing and it's awesome that we, who aren't funded as much as them, are going out there and competing,
Sure.
just as good as them.
Yeah.
So it's like we're doing more with less, and
Yeah.
that's even sweeter. So when we beat them this year, it's going to be even sweeter.
Yeah, and so I don't want to ask you if you're making any guarantees, but is that somewhat of a
It's not a guarantee, but it's just our mindset every week.
Yeah.
Any team we play, we want to beat. So,
Sure.
So it's whether it's Laval, McGill,
Yeah.
whoever we play, we want to beat.
So you're a JMSB student, and that was one of the big reasons that you chose Concordia in the first place.
Yeah.
How's that experience been?
Well, honestly, it was amazing. The MBA program, right from the top, with one of our program directors, Deborah Wright. She's phenomenal, and the whole team they have over there, and really the people in the MBA program is really what makes it great.
Right.
So I have nothing but great things to say. I've had a chance to partner with and work with a charity, Toe to Toe, where we collect socks for homeless in Montreal, and
awesome.
that's gone amazing. We're probably going to do another sock drive before one of the games this year.
Cool.
And try to collect more socks than last year. So it's really just given me a lot of opportunities to get experience,
Yeah.
learn a lot, great professors. So it's really been great.
So I gotta ask, after Concordia, is the CFL on your mind? Is playing pro ball on your mind at all?
I mean, honestly, I want to take it as far as I can.
Yeah.
My whole life I've been too short. So, I really just want to prove to all of them that, none of that matters. It's a team game. So if we're winning and I'm not turning the ball over, and I think I have a unique thing to offer to the CFL where I played Division I, I played Division II, and now it's almost like I've trained in Canadian football for 3 years. I don't think any other quarterback coming from the States has that.
Yeah.
Because even when I went to the camps the past couple of years, there's some phenomenal quarterbacks coming up from the States, but they don't know how to play Canadian football.
Right.
And so if they can get a guy, from the States or whatever they want to call it,
Yeah.
and who's played Canadian for 3 years, I don't see how that's not an advantage to them.